What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Juicy Jet podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Rooney, and this is a very special episode because it's an emergency podcast. I had to drop everything. I had to stop what I was doing because we have big news in Jets land that we need to talk about. So what does that mean for this episode? It means there's going to be no gym break, no trivia question. It's going to be all about the big news of the day, which is Garrett Wilson. So we will do our 53-man roster prediction in the next couple days. But right now, I want to talk about this new extension that Garrett Wilson just signed in the last hour or so. So what we're going to do is we'll talk about the deal first. You can get all the details about what the money looks like, how long we've got him under contract, all that good stuff. We'll go into Garrett Wilson. We'll talk a little bit about him. Why does he deserve this money? Why is it great that we've dedicated all of these resources towards Garrett? And then finally, we'll talk about Glenn, Muji, the folks that actually on the Jets side put this deal together. So, number one, from a fan's perspective, today is a very, very exciting day. I'm very happy to extend someone who's a part of our young core of the New York Jets in Garrett Wilson. He's been such a great player for us over the past 3 years that he's earned this. And it's about time that fans like me have a jersey you can go buy and that you can stick with for the foreseeable future because we know he's going to be a part of this entire squad. And we don't do it often. We'll talk more about that, but it's nice to get one of the young guys under contract here. So let's talk about the deal. So Garrett Wilson signs a 4-year extension worth $130 million with $90 million of it guaranteed. Now, you should know this is a 4-year extension. So that means it's on top of what we already have him under contract for. So right now, Garrett Wilson's in year 3, or he's about to go into year 4 of his rookie deal, which means we have him for year 4. We already picked up his 5th-year option, so we have him for year 5, and then the extension goes into play, which means we have Garrett Wilson for another 6 years up until 2030, which is awesome. Very exciting that we're going to have him for the majority of his prime. Now let's talk about the money a little bit. So this deal, $130 million, $90 million guaranteed, that puts him at $32.5 million a year when the extension kicks in. Of course, it doesn't kick in for a little bit, but if you extend it over the 6 years that he's getting paid, including what he's getting paid today, it's about $25 million per year, which makes it a little bit easier to digest. So that $32.5 million a year when the extension kicks in would be a top 5 wide receiver salary in the NFL today. And, you got the big guys in front of him. You got like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf, and I think one other guy. So for me, I actually thought this deal was going to be very tough. Because Garrett, you would probably say he's like a number 6 to number 15 wide receiver in the NFL. So I actually thought it was going to be difficult because how do you slot him? And I think this is actually a really great place to slot him. Top 5, he's not 1, 2, 3, or 4, so you're not going to get paid $40 million a year. But it puts him in a place where he's going to be comfortable and happy with the salary he's getting paid. And then on the Jets side, it's going to look pretty cheap in a few years. You got guys like Puka Nacua. You've got Terry McLaurin. All these other guys are going to be looking for new deals that he'll get eclipsed very quickly. So I think the deal is actually structured really nicely for the Jets and for Garrett, where both sides are really happy. But in general, I think the Jets kind of won this deal, and it's kind of team-friendly. This would have been very dangerous if Garrett didn't get paid this offseason and waited till next offseason. Because number one, it would get more expensive. Number two, we wouldn't know how unhappy Garrett would be and if he would want to leave. He easily could have gone to another team and gotten paid the big bucks and probably gotten way better quarterback play than he's gotten from the New York Jets. So awesome deal for both sides. Very excited. I think both sides should be happy. And I think the big thing here too is you got Sauce Gardner coming up as well. In the next few days, that should get announced too. You get Garrett, Sauce under contract together. And you've got the core of both your offense and defense signed at the exact same time for the foreseeable future. So really exciting stuff from this deal in general. Now, like I said, I was surprised, so the timing is really interesting. I really thought I thought Sauce would get done before training camp started, and I thought Garrett, it might take a few more weeks, either into training camp, maybe getting close to the start of the season. And I could see him being a guy being like, I don't want to get distracted. We're going to shut this down until next year. So very thankful that this got done when it got done. So let's talk about Garrett a little bit. I don't think there's a Jets fan out there who's unhappy with what just happened. I think every Jets fan is a huge Garrett Wilson fan. And I think the reason why is you look at how successful he's been as a New York Jet over the past few years. He's been here 3 years. He wins Offensive Rookie of the Year his first year. Obviously, Seahawks fans will complain that it should have been Kenneth Walker, but you barely hear about Kenneth Walker anymore. So I think Garrett was well deserved winning that award. He's he's had 1,000 yards receiving in his first 3 years and 80 plus catches in his first 3 years. Only 5 people in NFL history have ever done that. It's like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Odell Beckham, Michael Thomas, and Garrett Wilson, which is insane. And you think about those other guys, they had real life people throwing to them. Garrett Wilson's had more quarterbacks than probably touchdowns he's had in the NFL. He's had, let's see, we got Zach, Aaron, Mike White. He's got, let's see, who else? Trevor Siemian, Chris Streveler, Tim Boyle, all these random dudes throwing him footballs. I'm sure I missed some too. So he's had a tough go of it when it comes to the people throwing him the ball. And yes, he is extremely passionate. Sometimes he gets testy at the end of the games. He takes winning to heart for sure. But he's managed to stick with us this entire time. And I think for him too, just look at last year. Last year, he's the number 1 receiver on a team with Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback. Halfway through the year, we trade for Aaron Rodgers' best friend. Aaron barely looks at him anymore. Now, sure, he had a lot of targets, but it was really the Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers show to end the year. He could have gotten so frustrated that he could have left. But it just shows the character of this guy, the fact that, he wants to turn this around. This guy's used to winning, and yet we haven't done any of that here. So really big props to Garrett. And I think the other piece too is Garrett's catch against the Texans, which is right behind me if you see it here. There we go. The jump man. That's going to go down as one of the probably most insane plays in New York Jets history, just from a pure, what happened in that exact moment play. So, he's going to be remembered forever as a New York Jet. So this is really exciting that we get to keep him. He's sticking around. So I'm very happy with this deal. Very happy for Garrett. And we'll see. We need to get him some help, all that kind of stuff, so he's not the only one out there. But he's got to be happy that his old quarterback, Justin Fields, is the one throwing to him. So really big day there. Now, the second side to this, too, is the Jets side of it. Now, like I've mentioned earlier, the New York Jets don't really sign their draft picks. We haven't drafted well enough to re-sign folks. Quinnen Williams had to wait 4 years, and during that offseason that he got signed, I think there were 3 other defensive tackles that already got signed. So, of course, we put ourselves in a horrible spot where, okay, everyone else has got paid this much. Quinnen's going to want a little bit more. So we made it way more expensive than it needed to be. Then we didn't sign anyone for a long time. Then we signed Michael Carter. Michael Carter, great slot corner. I feel really good about that deal. We'll see how that goes. And then just now this offseason, of course, we signed Jamie Sherwood, which is really great, and now Garrett Wilson. So it feels like we're becoming a real organization that signs their homegrown talent and keeps them around. So that was awesome to see. And this is a brand new leadership team too, between Glenn, Muji, Rick Spielman. So I was very interested to see how this was all going to work and whether they would prioritize a Garrett or a Sauce. But it feels like the two of them are ones that they're both really excited about getting in the door and keeping around because they're really important to the success of the team. So props to Muji. Now, Muji is very much a scout, so there are going to be other people on his side that are helping him with these negotiations. I think Spielman is obviously going to be someone from an advisory perspective that's going to help as well. So it feels good that these two, or I guess these 3, between Glenn, Muji, and Spielman, got together and was able to make this happen. And I love, too, that it's a priority to get done before training camp. The reason for that is now we don't have to listen to questions every single day of training camp saying, how's the contract negotiations going? Are you going to sign? Are you going to be a Jet for life? How's that all going? Thank God we don't have to hear it. Now it can be all positive. We could talk about how happy are you to be here till 2030? How happy are you to finally get paid for all the great stuff that you've been doing? We can focus on football. We could talk about things that aren't a distraction. So I think it's great timing by Muji and Glenn. I think Garrett's going to be very happy too. So overall, this is a fantastic deal. I've said it a million times. I couldn't be happier with how this is going. Now the big thing is going to be who's going to be his help. We were going to talk about this on this episode. We won't. But Mason Taylor hasn't been signed yet. All the second round pick controversy we'll talk about in a future episode. But yeah, this is a great day to be a Jets fan. So now, if you don't have a Jets jersey and you've been looking for one, there's a guy who's going to be on the team till 2030 that wears the number 5 that you can go get your kid, go get your friends, your family, whatever. Get it for yourself. Garrett Wilson's going to be here for the long term. So, very exciting day in New York Jets land. I think if there's one criticism that you could say about Garrett Wilson, which is totally fair, he's a great real-life wide receiver, but he doesn't score enough touchdowns. So that's going to be really cool to see this year if he can take his touchdowns to 7, 8, 9 in a year instead of the 4 that he's been putting up year over year. Hopefully, Justin Fields will help with that. Hopefully, our run game will help with that. And then we'll see Garrett Wilson flourish. So I know this was a short one, only about 10, 15 minutes, but I wanted to make sure to jump on, talk about the news, and how excited everyone should be about signing Garrett Wilson long term. And it's not going to be that big of a pain to our cap. So it's great stuff. I'm very excited. Now, I'm sure I'm going to have to jump on in a day or two to do the same exact thing for Sauce Gardner. So we will talk about Sauce as well. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Let's get them both in before training camp. And then we can do like a really fun, like, oh, Garrett and Sauce on the podium together getting their extension signed and everybody's all happy and all that good stuff. So that's what I want, that positive momentum. I'm getting excited. Football's almost here. So I appreciate everyone for listening. I would love to hear some reactions. If you guys have any, please throw them in the comments. Like, subscribe, review, all that stuff. And we'll come in the next few days with my 53-man roster prediction, and as well as hopefully a Sauce Gardner extension. So thank you all again. Follow me at JuicyJet25 all across all socials, and I will talk to you soon. See ya.